Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well and thank you for being here. This is another timeless reading that's for somebody out there. My intention is that it will find the people it's meant for and at the right time. It's not intended to be for everyone, so if the storyline that emerges is not resonating with you, it's probably not for you. You can still watch the whole reading because it's always an intention of mine that anyone who's drawn to one of my readings will gain something from it. Whether it's an insight, a piece of wisdom, or even just the opportunity to see something from a different perspective. So if you happen to be here, I think you're meant to be here. Before we start, we'll just do our love pause, which is what we normally do. This is where we pause the video and send some love out into the universe with intention, really. So you can do that however you like. You can also just do a Ho'oponopono prayer if you prefer, and that involves saying the 4 sentences: thank you, I love you, I'm sorry, and please forgive me. Thank you to everyone who does the love pause. The time to pause is now, and I'll start my reading on the next slide. Okay, so this is the spread for the reading. The decks I've used will be listed in the description box. So I know with the way I select cards, it's very possible for me to end up with a lot of cards at the bottom of the deck, and that seems to have happened today. So I've actually taken 5 cards from the bottom of the deck. I will try to get through them fairly efficiently, but then again, part of me thinks if there's that many cards, there might be a bigger story to tell. Because when I take cards from the bottom of the deck, they're usually major arcana cards or aces, and those cards do tend to be meaningful in their messages. So I will just get started. We'll see where we go. I always love working with this deck. The color scheme is just gorgeous, and the characters are all so well dressed. It always kind of impresses me. But anyway, starting with the reading. So the very bottom of the deck, the actual card was the 6 of Wands, and that's somebody who is being celebrated for their accomplishments. So there's been some kind of victory, some kind of success. They're being recognized. You can see all these roses that have been thrown at their feet. So they're in a good place there. And the very next card is the Justice card. So this is a Libra card, and it's about, the fact that it's here with the 6 of Wands card is making me feel like this person's success is well deserved. It's a fair outcome. They've obviously done the work that has led to them being recognized. Now, the next card was a bit of a surprise, but it's the Ace of Wands, and that's about an exciting new direction. So that's one that this person feels passionate and excited about. And I guess that can happen. So say you've accomplished success in one area of your life, and then something new comes along, and you feel kind of compelled to go that way. So that's what I think this Ace of Wands is about. And the next card really supports that this person could succeed at that because it's the Magician card. So the Magician is someone who can make things happen. They can manifest the reality they want. So Magician with the Ace of Wands, I'm seeing this as someone who gets inspired about something and then just gets on with making it happen. So it's a great card. The Magician relates to the planet Mercury. That's for those who are interested. And then the last card here, it was the Devil card, and I was like, what? But I think that it is here for a reason. So the Devil card is a Capricorn card. But anyway, the reason it's here, I think, well, I don't know. I'll say what I need to say first, and that is that this is actually the 3rd reading in a row where the Devil has shown up. And for those of you who watch my videos regularly, you will have spotted that as well. So when I get a particular energy on repeat, I feel like it is a collective issue. And what I feel is going on now with the collective is that there are large numbers of people who are shaking off the connections, the situations, the systems that have had them feeling stuck. So they're actually wanting to be free and to live life on their own terms. And as someone with an interest in astrology, I can definitely see that there are astrological influences that are driving these collective shifts. Now, in the previous 2 readings, the Devil was the card at the bottom of the deck. But here in the sequence of cards, the Devil's appearing last. And I feel like that is saying that the Devil has lost ground and it isn't really in control anymore. But the energy is still around, it's still lurking, and it's still trying to have an influence on things. And what that means is that it's important to remain vigilant and possibly even a little bit suspicious too. So there might be things that come along that are trying to pull you in other directions or pull you back to where you came from. So just be aware of that. Continue to be intentional about aligning with where you're going, and be aware of these, like I said, these other things that are coming along that might distract you or try and pull you back or try and pull you down. Now, some things you encounter will require your attention, but when that happens, ask Spirit to help you handle them as quickly as possible and then get back to the things you want to be focusing on. So I think it's definitely a good idea to ask Spirit to help whenever these things happen. Okay, so the rest of the reading now. The card in the past position is the World, which is wow. So the World is a really significant major arcana card, and it's showing up in the past position. So what I feel is going on here is that we're talking about someone who has done the work, spiritually speaking. They've had a tough journey, but they've definitely learned all the lessons they needed to learn and passed all the tests that were put in front of them. So the World card is the last card in the major arcana. So it's basically the fool who started the journey. They're finishing the journey. They're no longer a fool at this point in their life. They're worldly, they're wise, they're mature, they're enlightened, they're balanced. The image here is someone in a yoga pose. I think that one's called the tree pose. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they're looking very calm. They're very balanced. Their heart chakra is actually highlighted in this card. So I do feel like they are a loving and compassionate person. The other thing that's standing out on this card is the continent of South America is shown on the planet above their head. So maybe that's relevant for someone here. So basically, that's saying this person, they're starting off in a very solid point in this reading. So coming into the present position. So the Six of Pentacles is the card in the present position, which is typically a card about giving and receiving. This image is not unlike the original image. It's got some slight differences, but I'll talk you through it. So in the traditional image for this card, there is a wealthy man who's giving some poorer individuals, giving off his pentacles to some poorer individuals. But here, obviously, it's a hen, and she's providing for these two little chicks. And maybe these are her own little chicks, for all we know. I'm not too sure. But if these aren't her own children, these are chicks that she feels responsible for. The image is actually making me think of the little red hen story. And parents out there will know that story perhaps. But for those of you who don't, the little red hen, she decides to grow wheat, and then she has it ground into flour and then baked into bread. But when the bread is baked, she doesn't share it with any of the other animals. And it's because all the way through her bread making journey, she actually asked if anyone would help her, and all of the animals had refused to help her all the way along. So she basically did it all on her own. And so the moral of the story is really that the bread is the reward for her efforts, and it's not meant for anyone who didn't help or contribute to that outcome. So this hen here, she's got success and wealth that she's worked hard for, and she's done it alone, and she's not going to be sharing it with people who don't deserve it. In this card here, she's enjoying her blessings, and if these chicks are symbolizing her babies, then she's mostly focusing on her own family being well provided for. So the person in this reading is someone who will share their blessings with the people they love and trust, their inner circle, the people they see as family, the people who have loved and supported them on their journey. And if anyone else shows up, I don't think they're going to be welcomed as such. And that's taking me straight to that rejection card, because when I first pulled these cards, I was like, ooh, rejection, because I thought it was a card for this person, but it's actually, I think, relating to this energy that I've just picked up. And it's about other people being rejected is what I feel. So The rejection card, it's quite a strong red color. It's making me think of a stop sign, actually. So I think if anyone's approaching this person with their hand out for old time's sake, they might get a bit of a slap down. So they're going to be exercising their judgment in terms of who they're going to share their blessings with. And that sort of fits, actually, because in the traditional tarot card for the Six of Pentacles, there is actually a set of scales, and that's about how the giving of the pentacles is done in a way that is fair, reasonable, and considered. And the other thing in that image is that the wealthy man doesn't give equally to the poor people that he's giving to. So he's actually making a judgment about who to give more to. So this person in this reading, they're definitely going to be exercising their judgment about who they share their blessings with, and certainly how much of how much they'll help certain people. So, there might be people who get a lot, there might be people who just get a little bit, and there certainly will be people who get nothing. So a lot of judgment's going to go into that. Might sound cold, but it's fair. I mean, that's what that card is like. And really that was the moral of the little red hen story as well. So if you didn't support her while she worked to make the bread, you don't get to eat the bread, and that's that. So, right. Now I'm being drawn over to the Skadi Oracle card because it also seems tied into this message of someone who has worked to get where they are in their life and hasn't had a lot of help with that. So I wasn't familiar with Skadi, but she is apparently a Norse goddess. She was a giantess. She lived in the mountains and she was known for her hunting prowess. And she's also associated with the season of winter. And for someone like me, that sounds like a tough life. So I feel like this person in this reading, they've had to deal with a lot of challenges in their life. Their life has perhaps felt bleak, desolate, cold, lonely, and they just had to survive it on their own. They didn't have anyone around them to who offered to give them a hand. They were just left to it. And I'm guessing Skadi, if she had any success as a hunter, she would credit herself for that success because, she really was doing it on her own. So again, we get that little red hen vibe, someone who wasn't supported by others. They did what they did on their own and they've become successful through their own efforts. And consequently, they don't feel the need to give to others. There's certainly no one they need to give back to because no one really gave them anything in the first place. So they just don't feel like they owe anyone anything. Now, Skadi's message on this card is, I rise up with courage to face any challenge. So that's sort of linking me into the future card because we see the lion there, and we obviously think of Leo and courage, and so those energies are all sort of linking in quite nicely. So I do feel like we are talking about someone who is a fighter, someone courageous. They fought all their battles alone. They never gave up. I'm sure Spirit was supporting them, but really other than that, they didn't have anyone on their side. I say Spirit was supporting them because I genuinely believe Spirit supports anyone who, is trying to make it on their own. Because, remember that saying, like, the gods help those who help themselves. I truly believe that. Like when you are trying to do your best and make your life as good as it can be, the gods are going to be helping you with that. And that's probably why they've reached this place of success and recognition. So Spirit has been supporting their journey as well, encouraging them, not letting them give up, leading them to the opportunities that would be right for them. And so now I'll move to that future card, which is the King of Wands. And we see this lion on this throne, and I'm drawn to the fact that this is a strong energy. Like I said with Skadi, we're talking about someone of a very strong character. So they're already wealthy and successful. We got that from the previous cards, but I feel like they're meant to end up in a leadership role. They will be someone that other people respect and look up to. So the lion is, the king of beasts, isn't he? So I'm getting that feeling here. This is someone who will be looked up to. The King of Wands is fire sign energy. I tend to see it as Leo. I think We've got that sort of energy coming through strongly. This is someone who others will see as passionate, determined, and inspiring. And it's interesting because I was thinking about how Spirit probably has been supporting this person all along. And now I'm looking at that purple throne the king is sitting on, and the fact that we've got this other oracle card we haven't talked about, which is also purple. So purple is the color of the crown chakra, and that chakra is about our connection to spirit. So I do feel like with this king seated on this purple throne, that spirit has definitely given them this throne. It's supporting their position. The purple oracle card is titled Claircognizance. So that's a very interesting card to have here. So claircognizance is a psychic ability, and it actually means clear knowing. So what this ability is that it means that this person is someone who just knows things. So they wouldn't necessarily be able to tell you how they know something, but they just know. So it's quite a cool psychic ability. It must be one of the more powerful ones, I imagine. But I am feeling, because I did feel like spirit has always supported them, maybe this person has always had this ability. Maybe when they were younger, it was still, developing, and they were unconscious of it. They might have just thought that they had good instincts. But I feel like by the time they're in this king energy in the future, it's become a fully developed ability. So it's one that they actually recognize as an ability that they have. So I do feel like maybe this has always been there, like I said, and that could have been how spirit was helping them on their journey, by perhaps always giving them insights into, what was a good option and what wasn't, and who was a good person and who wasn't. So this person, like I said, they might have just felt like they had good instincts even when they were younger. Now, the keywords on this claircognizance card are knowing, wisdom, and inspiration. So we do have, I guess, a claircognizant King of Wands, and that's a powerful combination that will other people will be impressed by. The fact that this is a number 49 card is also jumping out at me, because I'm seeing basically the numbers of the Emperor and the Hermit together, and that's an unusual combination, but it's sort of making me think of Skadi again. So she was powerful and confident of her own power, but she was also out there on her own in a fairly remote kind of environment. So this King of Wands might be someone similar. They are someone who's going to get into that Emperor energy, but still be a fairly solitary figure, I feel, and they may also operate remotely. I guess these days in the with the internet being as powerful as it is, you probably could, be on a property in the middle of nowhere and still be having an influence on the world. So it could be something like that. And I mean, that might sound lonely, but I feel like that's been their whole life. They've always just been on their own with spirit supporting them. I don't think that's going to phase them too much. And it is often said that it's lonely at the top, and leaders are the people who end up at the top, and it's going to be rare for them to meet other people who are their equal. And if they do, I guess, for a leader, their equal is going to be another leader. So it's really, yeah, I mean, I think they may have friends who are other leaders, and, they could maybe bounce ideas off each other if they trust each other, or they could collaborate on things if there were opportunities to collaborate. But in terms of other people, like, I really haven't seen other people in this whole reading, and that may be the way it is in the future as well. So I don't think it's going to be daunting for them. They are familiar with being on their own. They are familiar with succeeding on their own, and they're a natural leader with this energy. So I feel like they were just built to become this person. It's not going to bother them too much. And here we are. This is our last slide. I hope you guys enjoyed that reading. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please consider subscribing to the channel. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it and leave a comment if you feel guided to. And thank you to everyone who is subscribed already. Your support is greatly appreciated. So yeah, thanks everyone. Take care, and I hope to see you again in another video. Bye.